Obama returning home from Latin America with a long list of domestic dilemmas awaiting his attention. 2 wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and now Libya as well. There's Obamacare, record deficits, and a spending standoff that threatens to shut down the federal government. Joining me now from Washington, our guest, the former Congressional Budget Office Director, Doug Holtz Eakin, and presidential historian, author of the book, What Does the President Look Like? Jane Hampton Cook. Thank you both for being here. Well, let's start, if we may, with Doug. A little miscalculation, apparently, on the part of the administration. A mere $2 million projected as a result of some really bad math. What's going on here?
This administration is characterized by bad math, Lou. As you know, they have promised year after year that the budget's a top priority, that entitlement reform is an imperative, and yet we get budget after budget that shows red ink as far as the eye can see, and a debt explosion that threatens the very prosperity of America and its ability to remain secure in this globe. So today's news is like the news we've seen before, quite frankly.
And Jane, this is something new where there's almost it seems to be I don't want to say cavalier, but certainly not a rigorous approach to methodology when it comes to little things like the budget of a $3.7 trillion government. What's going on?
Well, it definitely seems unprecedented when you compare President Obama's actions to previous presidents. I mean, President George W. Bush was very decisive, a lot like Harry Truman. President Clinton was very deliberate and always in the mix of things. And you see a very detached president coming out of President Obama and his style. And I think that's a big contribution to the economic issues that we're looking at and the foreign policy issues that we're looking at.
You use the word detached. Some people use the word cool. No drama Obama. How does that square up?
Well, there's a little bit of truth to that, but you could almost call him delegator-in-chief. You saw Secretary Clinton come out tonight and talk about NATO and our involvement. So you definitely are seeing someone who's delegating a lot and who does seem a little bit detached. It doesn't necessarily mean that he, behind the scenes, is not fully engaged, but it's coming across, I think, a little bit to a lot of people that he is a little bit detached and aloof.
And this idea that, that it would be Obama's war, Libya, I guess it won't be called that since his staff is now calling it, the administration is calling it limited time, limited scope military action after torturing it down to a kinetic military action from what used to be the serviceable 3-letter word, war. Let's turn, if I may, to Obamacare, now entering our 2nd year of Obamacare. Doug, this is a law that's being assaulted from the courts. It's being assaulted on Capitol Hill. The Republicans say that they're going to defund it. Yet, as far as I know, no move has been taken on the part of the Republican leadership in the House to do that. What is your reading on what is happening on the part of the Republican Party and Obamacare?
Well, certainly on Obamacare, the Republican Party doesn't control the agenda. I mean, the White House is still controlled by Democrats, so is the Senate. They have done what they can by passing a law that repeals Obamacare in the House, but now they turn to really what will be a 3-part strategy to try to kick the pins out from underneath this bad law. They'll do a lot of oversight hearings so that people actually understand what's in the law and how it's being implemented. Every day there's a new horror story about how unworkable it is. They'll try to use the appropriations process to take the money out as much as they can and slow down the setup. But the real action is out in 2014 when the 2 new entitlements explode onto the scene. And given the budgetary problems, they'll use the budgetary vice to really squeeze down this program.
And Jane, as we wrap up here, we're talking about the president's style. Is this an effort, a conscious effort on the part of the president to set priorities that are not aligned with that of the American people? We're talking about 50 million people unemployed, prosperity still not at hand, wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, and now Libya, and this president's talking about illegal immigration, for crying out loud.
Well, I don't know that it's a deliberate effort on his part, but it could just be that he is plunging forward on his agenda, no matter what the events of the day are. And a president needs to be nimble and be able to go with what's going on in the world, and he seems to be very much plotting forward with what is important to him. And that's certainly understandable, but you have to respond to the events. And a president really needs to be nimble. And I think we've seen predecessors like FDR and others who were very nimble and able to respond to things that were happening in the world.
Of course, his supporters might say he's being principled. That's a possibility.
Very well could.
All right.
Yeah.
Jane, thank you very much. Doug, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.